Hello everyone, Brad here, finally complete with Disney World. It's been about a year and a half. I actually have it pulled up. The first video I put out was March 4th, 2017. So it has been a very long time doing this park. I think this is... I really wasn't, I didn't know what I was in for when I started this, because I always liked Main Street, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'll start building at least Main Street, see what that's like, and then one thing became the next, and here we are, finally done, a day before Christmas with this whole park. So what I'm going to do in this video is give you a tour of everything. Go over the entire park, including the new stuff I've added since the last video. I'll briefly show you just kind of right now what those were. You can see I've got Thunder Mountain in the back. I've got the Jungle Cruise, and the area back here, along with the train, which you'll see running around. Now to go to the very beginning. And here's the other thing I should mention too. If I forget what something is, I'm sorry about that, but I haven't been in like 2 years to the Magic Kingdom. And since that time I've been to Disneyland probably like 30 times, so I get the two very confused. Alright, so we've got the main entrance. Should be a Mickey in the grass. Yep, Mickey in the flowers. Oh, and keep in mind, as soon as I'm done with the video, as soon as the video is uploaded and all that, I'm going to go and put it on RCT Go. I'll have a link in the description for you all to download this. And because there's no custom scenery, yours is going to look just like this, with the exception of a few billboards, which I'll point out. I think there's 5 of them. Here's one right here, though. Well, actually 4, because I have it going around 4 times. So, main entrance, 2 buildings on the side, not 100% sure what they are. Come around. We take a look at the back side. We've got the entryway into the train station. And there should be a train coming by any minute now. Hopefully. No? Okay. You'll notice with the railway, I only detailed the areas near the stops. I didn't actually go into any detail along the way because it's mostly trees. And here comes the train. But it's mostly trees, and it's not very exciting. But I will go ahead and see if we can jump on this one. So you can kind of see what it looks like coming up into the station. Oh, apparently you get hit by this tree if you go on it. I did add these trees too since even the last video on Main Street, because there wasn't any while I was working on the railroad. So you can't really see too much from here. But that's that. Coming along, you have a meet and greet, I believe. Last time I was there, it was some characters you can meet. And then you've got Tony's Town Square Restaurant. As you watch this video, anytime that, or even when you have the park downloaded, anytime you see these glass ceilings, I'll show you which ones they are. These are right here. These glass roofs, if you zoom out, they will disappear. Like that. They just kind of vanish. So, it seems a little strange. You know, I know the draw distance can vary for certain objects, but that one just goes right away. Alright, then we've got various stores. I can't even tell you what any of them are anymore, except this one being the Emporium. There's like the stable back here. There's the firehouse, which looks a little bit different than the one in Disneyland. And the town hall. Or town square, or whatever it is. Got the main little setup here where they would have a flag. Now let's continue going down Main Street. More stores. Again, I haven't been so long, I can't remember what literally any of these stores are, because I just immediately think of the Disneyland ones, but I know they are different. For example, there's a restaurant here in Disneyland, the Carnation Cafe. On the roofs, you may wonder why I put all these, fence-looking things. It's because the ceiling has a lot of lights and fixtures and things for fireworks. That's kind of why I went with that tone. Here's a place I do know because I love it. Casey's Corner, over here. And then I think there's like the Plaza Restaurant, Plaza something, over on this side. Right here we have kind of a good gateway to get into Tomorrowland. You'll see it has another one of another one of those magical fadeaway sunroofs. The Tomorrowland Terrace, I think that's what it was called, which, as of the time I used to go, was always seasonal, or they would do dessert parties. You can see I've got all the chairs and some fake people in there. And then on this side, the Crystal Palace, I believe, character buffet. And here is that building. Can't really see inside that one. Now here's something you may be looking at and wondering, well wait, that's not right. Turns out when I used Google Earth and started building this, the image they had was very old. And for that reason, there actually used to be a little river thing, a little moat that went around here. But recently they went and landfilled it, and there's like another circle to the hub that comes around here. And I noticed it too. I was looking at the picture like something doesn't seem right here. But I went ahead and had it the old way. It makes sense that they changed it. I understand why, more firework viewing and all that. But this is kind of what I went with, and I didn't realize it until I was like halfway into it, so I was kind of like, and it looks nicer, you get the flowers and all that, but this is how it used to be. Okay, coming into the main hub, you will see this great rendition of the partner statue. Again, I don't use custom scenery and game limitations and stuff, and this is on a corner piece, so not really any great objects to use, but you get the point. And then of course the gateway to all of the different lands and the castle. So Cinderella Castle, offset because just a little bit offset. I had to do it one space because I had to use that square. Here's another piece of custom image or billboard. So you won't have this, but it would probably look fine without it, honestly. It just adds the little clock effect. You could probably use like one of the shields if you'd like. And I'll go through this at nighttime too, so you can kind of see what. So you'll see I actually have like little AC units as the to make the gold tips that the spires. And while we're here, I'll jump around the backside real quick too. If you've seen the other videos, you'll know that I love making the castles. That's why I went ahead and did Disneyland and then Disneyland in Paris. Alright, we're going to start off by going to Tomorrowland. 2 ways to get there. Well, more than 2, but from here. You can cut through the terrace and go to the infamous purple wall, which I know that's changed recently. And to the main entrance. You've got Stitch's Great Escape, which I think is closed now. I know it became a seasonal thing, but I'm pretty sure it's like permanently closed now. You've got the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. You'll see the People Mover kind of coming by as you enter. You got the People Mover entrance slash Astro Orbiter, where you have to take the ridiculous elevator to get up there on the thing. And I'll say it once again here, in case you haven't seen the other videos, there's no ride in the game that mimics an Astro Orbiter, the magic carpets of Aladdin, Dumbo. I mean, those are 3 of the same style of ride in this one park. So I had to use some interesting substitutes to make it happen. This one, though, does kind of have the look, at least the planetary thing, so I went with it. Yes, that's right. There's 3 of the same type of ride in one Disney park. Back here, what's back here? Oh yeah, there's like a stage, or kind of not like a stage, but a meet and greet area where, from what I remember, Buzz Lightyear was here. Come around to the carousel. Oh, there's another one. There's another custom billboard, Carousel of Progress. You can see all the colorful walls and entrances. Carousel of Progress from the 1964 World's Fair. Here's the stage where they've done like the dance parties and all those things. They'll have like a DJ up there playing music. I don't remember why I put this here. I'm sure it was some decoration. Souvenir shops, things of that nature. You've got the entrance to Space Mountain. This is another one. Custom scenery billboard thing. And one that I forgot about until I recently watched it was inside the People Mover somewhere. I don't know if I'll be able to find this. There you go. You can see the Starport 7.5. As you come in through on the People Mover, you go through there. So that's one that's there too. Now something I'll show you about the People Mover here is that, let me see if I could find one. You'll notice it moves very fast. I can't slow this down. I do have a ride-through video if you're interested. So here's Progress City, or Epcot. I do have a video where this is slowed down and it goes with the audio from the ride itself, if you want to see how that would actually look. But as of now, it's pretty fast moving. That's just the only way I could make it. And as for the track, it comes around here, goes around here, goes in through here. This is where you see the Epcot thing. Comes in through here, wraps around Space Mountain, comes back out, goes around, comes in through here. You see some of the Buzz Lightyear ride, wraps around and finishes. So that is the People Mover track. As for the Space Mountain building itself, this took a while to make. I think it turned out pretty alright. I'll probably copy and paste this one for Disneyland, because it's essentially the same. Moving on, we have, I think, like Mickey Star Traders. It's one of the stores here. And then you've got Tomorrowland. Oh, what's it called? Gosh, I can't remember. With the alien guy. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember what it's called. All right, we've got the Tomorrowland Speedway. You can see it's pretty basic, just have the cars going along. Now the roads are doubled up in some areas, but the game won't let you put like a track turning over another track. So I kind of use these roof tiles, but you'll notice I use these roof tiles for a lot of things. I mean, got some here, because it's one of the few pieces in the game that you can put anywhere. There's no limit, or it won't stop you from putting it anywhere. So I use it to kind of make like a bigger road. Since the last video, this is something new from the last video too. I've added the path cutting through the back way, which leads to the new Fantasyland stuff. And speaking of new Fantasyland, we're about to head there because that is all of Tomorrowland. I'll give you a quick view of it from the top. Alright, and I'm going to break this video up into parts, so if there's like a pause or something strange, it's because, you know, I don't want to lose progress on all this. And I'll break it up by land. Okay, now we're going to do Fantasyland. Something here, I think it's a Cheshire Cafe, I believe. And then we have the Mad Tea Party teapot thing, which is actually spinning cups. So that was nice to see that they had those. Seven Dwarves Mine Train. Go ahead and talk about that real quick. Some rides in this game are functional rides, and what I mean by that is you can sit there and ride through it and it's just like the ride, or I tried to recreate the whole ride. This is not one of them. It's very close to being one, but it's not one. And the reason is because the inside section I did not detail in the hill. The outside is, you know, basically is the way it should look. So if you all would like to change it, all you got to do is change the inside. But the rest of the ride is rideable. I should mention that the People Mover, I'll go over each ride. Space Mountain is not a rideable ride, even though there's a coaster in there. People Mover is, Autotopia is, Buzz Lightyear is not. That's what we have so far. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to mention it for each ride and tell you if it is a functional ride. Dumbo. This is, again, you can see they are just spinning kind of like a Gravitron, because there's nothing in this game that kind of resembles that ride style. So that's what I went with. We've got Pete's Silly Sideshow, whatever that is. You got this thing, whatever that is. I've actually never walked back in this area of the park, so I'm not even sure what some of these things are. This right here is probably the biggest fail of the whole park. My favorite character ever, Casey Jr. They have like a train play area out here. And this is Casey Jr. because there was nothing better I could find that would fit here. Even the train ride, like itself, I'd have to put it in the station. It would have to go pretty far, and it was just not worth it. It would compromise too much. So, there you go. Casey Jr., the minivan. Little cart stand thing here, not sure what it is. And the train station over here for New Fantasyland. And the last section in this corner is the Barnstormer. I like how this tower turned out. You've got like the billboard. Now something you may be noticing is the track isn't quite right. It's very close, but not quite right. I tried to go for, you know, making it look right more so than it being functional, because as you can see, this is not a functional ride. Here it goes up, and where it ends, it just kind of stops. There's no way to really make it functional in this tight space. And I always have this problem in this game when it comes to the small rides, like the Woody Woodpecker coaster for Universal, the Flying Unicorn for Islands of Adventure. Those are always very difficult to do because it's such a tight area to do it, and the limitations of where you can and can't put a track really makes that difficult. I never look forward to making those little ones because you always have to compromise somewhere. Coming around the backside, you'll see we have the Little Mermaid ride. This is not a functional ride. There's nothing in the building. But we do have the outside facade. Got like the little waterfall thing. Just a warning too, when you get this park, you're going to get a lot of these little alert things. You've got Gaston's Tavern. You've got the little area back here, which I'm pretty sure is bathrooms. Little store here. And then you have Be Our Guest Restaurant, which, a little bit of forced perspective here. If you don't know what forced perspective is, it's where they make something smaller. They add a certain degree, kind of, to play tricks on the eyes, make it look like it's bigger than it is. But, you know, if you come down from here, it doesn't really work in this game, but there's the castle. Then you have the Enchanted Tales with Belle, which is really neat. You basically travel to the Beast Castle, you get to meet Belle and all those fun things. Okay, so that's it for new Fantasyland. Back to the old school Fantasyland, we have the Winnie the Pooh ride here. Which you can see I kind of got going. This is not a functional ride either. Just this little beginning part. Here is some kind of food place. Here at this corner. And is this filler magic or is that filler magic? One of these is filler magic. I can't recall which one it is. Gosh, I need to get back here. Got like the Mickey Beanstalk store thing. Various other stuff. And things. Carousel, pretty basic. Now what I did here to make it a little bit bigger, as you can see there's actually a tiny carousel. So I used roof tiles and these things and kind of pushed it out to make it appear like it is a little bit bigger than it actually is. And now you see right here the Pinocchio Restaurant, which gives a great view of Small World from the inside if you're sitting about here. Got Small World. Small World is a non-functional ride. I don't even think I put anything in the building. Peter Pan is also a non-functional ride. But you can see, like I did put... Let's see if I can do this without breaking anything. No. But if you look through Peter Pan, you'll see that there's actually little vehicles going. Something else to note, the reason most of these rides are not functional is because they're in buildings, and the buildings have to be a certain size. For example, I couldn't push this building really any bigger than this or it would look weird for the rest of the park. Because when you build stuff in this game, it kind of has to be bigger than it actually is. And then the last little bit of Fantasyland is over here. The more recent bathrooms they added, the Rapunzel bathrooms and Flynn Rider and all that. You see the tower in the back, that's supposed to be Rapunzel's tower. Very convincing. Alright, and that is it for Fantasyland. Now over here in Liberty Square, we'll start here with Memento Mori's, the more recent Haunted Mansion shop that they've added, and then the Haunted Mansion itself. I do like how this turned out. Even though the mansion, it looks a little weird because it's at an angle. It has like angled sides. Makes it a little more difficult. The horseless carriage. Got the exit over here, the entrance over here. And then the more recent queue they've added with the graveyard, the interactive stuff. And then of course I've got the gravestones before you enter the mansion itself. Not a functional ride. Here's the show building. Continuing along, we have this building, the Columbia Harbor House, which is probably the best quick service restaurant at the Magic Kingdom, I would say. Moving along, there's like a fruit stand, something here. And then the riverboat, which I didn't put back in, actually. That does need to go back in, so if you want a riverboat, put it in. You've got the, oh gosh, stores, I believe. Yeah, they've got to be stores. Hall of Presidents. That'll be right here. This is where those awesome rocking chairs are, kind of hiding in the back. And you'll see this shares really the same building as Peter Pan and potentially Filler Magic, if that's what's over here. Which doesn't look like a lot of space, and it definitely wouldn't be to fit any of that stuff in here. So if you've done Hall of Presidents, you'll know it's a very big auditorium. So this is the pathway, one of the pathways to get there from Fantasyland. And then this is the pathway to the main hub. And then there's a pathway here to get down to Adventureland. But we'll get to that later. I did like this little design here. How it kind of is able to make it shoot around the other way. It's always fun to do stuff like that. Then we have the Liberty Tree restaurant over here. And now we're moving to Frontierland. What is this? Don't remember. The shooting gallery over here and the pin traders over here. I did add some stuff in here if you take a look. Some little things, kind of liven it up. There, you'll notice there's like a little walkway along the whole thing too. And then here is the first connection gateway to get to Adventureland. So Frontierland's a little strange because you can't really get to it from the main entrance. Kind of like New Orleans Square in Disneyland, where you have to go through another land to get there. Unless you take the train. Various buildings, shops, other wonderful things. One of them is a diamond horseshoe. I can't remember which one it is, though. And Pecos Bill, that's what this one was. There's like a little area out here that sells a lot of good snacks, like cheeseburger, spring rolls, and whatnot. This is where another entryway into Adventureland, so we'll stop there and turn back around. So you'll see we have Splash Mountain. This is not a ride-on, although it looks like it is, because this is two separate tracks. One of them just does one loop and one of them does the other. So it's two rides in this one. So this will not work unless you go in and do some modifying yourself. And if you do, the main reason I didn't do it as well is because the show building actually goes out to here. And I'd have to expand the park, which is kind of time consuming. Oh, real quick, I'll point out too, the train, I made it go underground here. In reality, it cuts straight through. But because of the way I made up this track and kind of improvised it, it gets in the way. So that is something that is a little funky. Okay, moving along. More of the new stuff that hasn't ever been seen yet. We've got the Sawyer Island thing. I hadn't been in here in so long, and I couldn't find any pictures because everything that Google Earth gives me it's all covered in trees. So I figured I'd do the same thing here. I covered the islands with trees. I added some of the structures that you may notice, like landing docks and all that. But other than that, it is trees and torches all the way to the back of the river. Now coming through here, also new stuff that has never before been seen in any of the videos. Got the little dockside thing here, the train station for Frontierland, and then Thunder Mountain. Now, unfortunately, again, Thunder Mountain is not really a ride-through ride, technically. Reason being, this is the last thing I had to do, and I wanted to really get it done. I'll be honest with you, it just was trying to push through. The track isn't quite exact. It's very similar, but to try and get it exact would have taken a lot of time. But I actually haven't even done a ride through on this yet, so I don't even know how it looks, because I finished it and went straight to making this. But it does start, it goes down, comes around, it drops from up here. You'll see I have some of the scenery aspects. By the way, these are termite hills. It's the best way, really the only way to kind of make it look like anything other than a point. I do have the area back around here where it goes in front of the town. So you'll see that's all here. And then like near the end with the bones, the dinosaurs. And something you may recall if you've been to Disneyland is the building itself is a little different because you start on the second floor and then you go down to the actual mine cars. I do like how the roof turned out. It was supposed to be all rickety and beat up, patchy. Alright, and I believe that is it for Frontierland. Let me just do one more once over. Get the island. Cool, so that looks like that is it for Frontierland. Now to Adventureland. So we're coming through the gateway over here. But let me take it back to the... No, you know what, we'll go through this way. You'll see there's like the little courtyard area with various buildings, shops, all along the sides. Then you have Pirates of the Caribbean, not a functional ride, just a building. And then over here there's a stage where they used to do a stage show. Don't think they do it anymore. You've got the Enchanted Tiki Room. There's kind of the building, the entrance. Here's like the courtyard you wait in before you go into the show. The magic carpets of Aladdin. This is the third version of that ride type. As you can see, it doesn't really look like carpets, but that's what we're going with. A little snack bar area. This is the other side to that entrance to Frontierland. Various snacks, restaurants, stores. Jungle Cruise. Just come down here. This also is not a functional ride. Main reason for that is because the water is not deep enough. So you'd have to go through and kind of dredge it a little bit more, because the boat wouldn't go through. And this one right here kind of was the most upsetting to make, because I did expect to make this a fully functional ride, but there's a lot of obstacles that kind of stop you from doing so, and I'll go over what they are. So coming through, one of the things was here doing a waterfall. Well, there's two waterfalls, but you can't put a waterfall into a body of water if there's a ride in it, which will complicate things here in a little bit. I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about. Got some of the scenery. Now the elephant, this was kind of an interesting story. This one's still sitting over here. I've never used animals in this game before. I didn't even know how they worked. So apparently you just drop them, and I thought it would like stay, but the elephant just started running off, and you can't pick it up like you can with people. So I had to fence him in like way over here. And then as he walked over back to where I needed him, I'd break down the fence and make it a little bit smaller. But he still hasn't come over here yet. This one was a little easier. And once I got him where I wanted, I just kind of fenced him in. And he appears to be stuck here, because I wanted to have the African bull elephants, you know, one here and then have one like right here where they should be. Got more of the scenery. And here's where the falls would be. I use glass, and I use this, let me show you the piece. Those elephants. I use this right here, bath floor, and you can see the bottom piece here. So it kind of gives a water effect up on the top. And the glass sort of mimics a waterfall, and then I added some misters. But yeah, this whole ride didn't really work out the way I wanted it to, which is a bit unfortunate. And that even goes with the boats. Let me show you what the boats look like after this. More scenery, more things, go through, backside of water, all that great stuff. The inside portion, at this point I didn't bother doing the inside stuff because nothing else was working, so I knew it wouldn't be a ride through. But there's the entrance, there's the exit. Alright, and yeah, let me show you what the boat looks like. This is like the boats that you travel between, like Epcot and there's some of the resorts. It's like closed in. You can't really change any of that. Alright, coming back along, we have the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse, which is just a lot of pulled up earth with various steps and things and branches and plants and bushes on it. Skipper's Canteen, I think that's right here. Pretty sure it's this one. A few other things, and then that is it for Adventureland. Now, that is basically the entire park at this point. I think I just covered everything. So now that we went over it all, let me put it at nighttime real quick. And I'll kind of just scan over everything one more time. Now, as I stated back in like the first video, this is one of those parks that I was considering nighttime for. And my computer is running very slow right now. So be mindful of that when you try to go to nighttime. You know, you don't want your computer to crash or anything, even though this is an old game. I like how the hub turned out. It does look very nice. And then the castle with the different colors of lights. Tomorrowland all lit up, as it should be. I wonder how many lights I have in this park total. It's probably a lot. The new Fantasyland section. Barnstormer's not very well lit, but that's okay. This probably could have used some lights as well. That castle in the back. Beast Castle. Ooh, for some reason everything just got darker. Strange. So you can see the island is occasionally lit by torches. I do think it adds a nice touch. Jungle Cruise. Did I add lights? There's some lights. Okay. Areas where it seems appropriate. Let me switch it back to daytime. Alright, well, guess what? There it is. It's finally done. Magic Kingdom. I'm going to be putting this for upload again, RCT Go. Look in the description. I'll put a link to it once I have it uploaded there. I just want to thank you all for, you know, the whole ride here. It was very long. This is probably going to be the longest video I posted. Maybe one of the Islands of Adventure ones might be pretty long too. But as for the future, someone was asking about Disneyland, and I just realized that I hadn't done that in like 6 months. So I will get back to Disneyland, especially since it is the park that I am at most frequently. I've got City Walk on the side. That shouldn't take too long. But Disneyland Paris, that's sitting there too. I might have that on the back burner because that is on my other computer. As far as the next new projects, I'm still not 100% sure, but I do think California Adventure would be pretty neat. Maybe even Animal Kingdom, but who knows. We'll see what comes up next. So as always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.